NFPA 10, that is National Fire Protection Association 10, covers the standard for portable fire extinguishers. This standard includes requirements for portable fire extinguishers and specifically addresses the use of halon extinguishers. It is essential to consult this standard to understand the regulations surrounding the use of halon extinguishers in various settings, including elevator machine rooms. NFPA 72, that is National Fire Protection Association 72, addresses the National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code. This code provides requirements for fire alarm systems, including the integration of audio or visual alarms. When dealing with fire suppression systems, such as those utilizing halon, it is important to understand the requirements for alarm systems as specified in NFPA 72. The integration of audio or visual alarms can be crucial for alerting occupants in the event of a fire. NFPA 25, that is National Fire Protection Association 25, focuses on the standard for the inspection, testing, and maintenance of water-based fire protection systems. While primarily addressing water-based systems, it also includes requirements for the inspection, testing, and maintenance of fire extinguishers. Ensuring that fire extinguishers, including halon extinguishers, are properly inspected, tested, and maintained is vital for their effectiveness in fire suppression. It is important to also consult additional resources. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, can be contacted at 1-800-344-3555. Their website is nfpa.org. They offer a wide range of resources and standards related to fire safety. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, can be contacted at 1-800-296-1996. Their website is epa.com/ozone layer protection. They provide information on ozone layer protection and regulations related to halon and other ozone-depleting substances. Given that there are potentially specific requirements for O'Hare Airport, it is recommended to contact the Department of Aviation directly. Their contact information can be found at flash.com/in/O'Hare/contact us. Consulting with the Department of Aviation can provide insights into any local regulations or requirements that may impact the use of halon fire extinguishers in elevator machine rooms. When addressing the question of whether ceasefire halon-based fire suppression systems in elevator machine rooms are recommended, accepted, or allowed by NFPA without an accompanying audio-visual alarm, firstly, it is vital to consult NFPA 10, NFPA 72, and NFPA 25. These standards provide the foundational requirements for fire extinguishers, fire alarm systems, and the maintenance of fire protection systems, respectively. Secondly, it is important to engage with fire protection professionals or engineers who possess expertise in fire safety regulations and standards. They can provide valuable insights and guidance tailored to the specific requirements of the project. Thirdly, it is necessary to conduct a thorough review of the relevant codes and regulations applicable to the jurisdiction where the project is located. This review should encompass federal, state, and local fire safety codes, including any specific requirements imposed by the Department of Aviation for O'Hare Airport. Here are several specific recommendations. Firstly, consult with a fire protection engineer or the Department of Aviation for the specific requirements for O'Hare Airport. This consultation will help to ensure compliance with any local regulations or guidelines. Secondly, review the relevant NFPA standards, particularly NFPA 10, NFPA 72, and NFPA 25, and consult with the manufacturer of the fire extinguisher for guidance. This review will provide a comprehensive understanding of the requirements for halon fire extinguishers and alarm systems. Thirdly, ensure that the fire extinguisher is inspected, tested, and maintained in accordance with NFPA 25. Regular inspection, testing, and maintenance are essential for ensuring the effectiveness of the fire extinguisher. Consider installing an audio-visual alarm to alert occupants of a fire in the elevator machine room. The addition of an alarm system can enhance safety and provide timely notification in the event of a fire. Regarding the installation of a module to tie into the fire alarm system, it is critical to consult NFPA 72, that is National Fire Protection Association 72. This standard outlines the requirements for fire alarm systems and provides guidance on the integration of fire suppression systems with the overall alarm system. The need for a module to tie the existing extinguisher to the fire alarm control panel depends on several factors, including the specific requirements of the fire alarm system, the type of Halon fire extinguisher in use, and any applicable codes or regulations. The presence of a Halon-based fire extinguisher in an elevator machine room raises several considerations that need to be addressed. Halon is an ozone-depleting substance, and its use is regulated in many jurisdictions. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has implemented regulations to phase out the production and use of Halon, although certain essential uses are still permitted. Firstly, it is important to determine whether the use of Halon fire extinguishers is permitted in the jurisdiction where our airport is located. Some jurisdictions may have restrictions or bans on the use of Halon due to its environmental impact. Secondly, if Halon fire extinguishers are permitted, it is necessary to ensure that they are properly maintained and inspected in accordance with NFPA 25. Regular maintenance and inspection are essential for ensuring the effectiveness of the fire extinguisher and for complying with regulatory requirements. Thirdly, the integration of the Halon fire extinguisher with the fire alarm system is an important consideration. NFPA 72 provides guidance on the integration of fire suppression systems with fire alarm systems, and it may require the installation of a module to tie the extinguisher to the fire alarm control panel. The purpose of this integration is to ensure that the fire alarm system is activated in the event of a fire, providing timely notification to occupants and emergency responders. The decision of whether to install an audiovisual alarm depends on several factors, including the size and layout of the elevator machine room, the occupancy of the building, and any applicable codes or regulations. NFPA 72 provides guidance on the installation of audiovisual alarms, and it may require the installation of such alarms in certain situations. It is important to conduct a fire risk assessment to determine the appropriate level of fire protection for the elevator machine room. This assessment should consider the potential fire hazards present in the room, the occupancy of the building, and any applicable codes or regulations. Based on the results of the fire risk assessment, it may be necessary to install additional fire protection measures, such as automatic fire sprinklers or a more sophisticated fire suppression system. In summary, addressing the use of Halon fire extinguishers in elevator machine rooms requires a thorough understanding of NFPA standards, EPA regulations, and local codes. Consulting with fire protection professionals and conducting a fire risk assessment are essential steps for ensuring the safety of occupants and compliance with regulatory requirements. The decision of whether to install an audiovisual alarm and integrate the fire extinguisher with the fire alarm system should be based on a careful evaluation of the specific circumstances and applicable codes. When evaluating the suitability of Halon-based fire suppression systems, it is crucial to consider the environmental impact of Halon and the availability of alternative fire suppression agents. Halon is an ozone-depleting substance, and its use is regulated in many jurisdictions. The EPA has implemented regulations to phase out the production and use of Halon, although certain essential uses are still permitted. There are several alternative fire suppression agents available, such as FM200, Novak 1230, and inert gases. These agents have a lower environmental impact than Halon and are widely used in fire suppression systems. When considering the use of Halon or alternative fire suppression agents, it is important to consult with a fire protection engineer or other qualified professional to determine the most appropriate solution for the specific application. The selection of a fire suppression agent should be based on a careful evaluation of the fire hazards present, the environmental impact of the agent, and any applicable codes or regulations. In addition to selecting an appropriate fire suppression agent, it is also important to ensure that the fire suppression system is properly designed, installed, and maintained. The design of the fire suppression system should take into account the size and layout of the protected space, the potential fire hazards present, and the required level of fire protection. The installation of the fire suppression system should be performed by qualified professionals who are experienced in the installation of such systems. Regular maintenance and inspection of the fire suppression system are essential for ensuring its effectiveness and for complying with regulatory requirements. When dealing with fire protection systems in elevator machine rooms, it is important to consider the unique challenges posed by these spaces. Elevator machine rooms typically contain electrical equipment and machinery which can pose a fire hazard. The presence of elevator equipment can also make it difficult to access the space for firefighting purposes. For these reasons, it is important to select a fire suppression system that is specifically designed for use in elevator machine rooms. Such systems typically utilize clean agents that do not leave a residue after discharge, minimizing the risk of damage to electrical equipment. It is also important to ensure that the fire suppression system is designed to provide adequate coverage of the protected space, taking into account the presence of elevator equipment. In addition to fire suppression systems, it is also important to consider the use of fire detection systems in elevator machine rooms. Fire detection systems can provide early warning of a fire, allowing occupants to evacuate the building and emergency responders to arrive on scene quickly. Fire detection systems typically utilize smoke detectors, heat detectors, or a combination of both. The selection of a fire detection system should be based on a careful evaluation of the fire hazards present and the occupancy of the building. Regular testing and maintenance of the fire detection system are essential for ensuring its effectiveness and for complying with regulatory requirements. Ultimately, ensuring the safety of occupants and protecting property from fire requires a comprehensive approach that encompasses fire prevention, fire detection, and fire suppression. By implementing appropriate fire safety measures and complying with applicable codes and regulations, it is possible to minimize the risk of fire and to ensure the safety of occupants in the event of a fire. The integration with the fire alarm control panel also depends on local fire codes and the specific requirements of the authority having jurisdiction. To provide a comprehensive response, let's delve further into the requirements and considerations surrounding fire protection in elevator machine rooms, with a specific focus on Halon systems, NFPA standards, and related regulations. Firstly, let's address the core question of whether Halon-based fire suppression systems are recommended, accepted, or even allowed by NFPA without an accompanying audio-visual alarm. NFPA 10, as mentioned earlier, sets the standard for portable fire extinguishers, including those utilizing Halon. It outlines the types of extinguishers suitable for different fire hazards and the requirements for their placement, inspection, and maintenance. NFPA 72, the National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code, is crucial in determining the need for audiovisual alarms. This code dictates the requirements for fire alarm systems, including the types of notification appliances required based on the occupancy and hazards present. Elevator machine rooms, while not typically considered high occupancy spaces, do contain valuable equipment and potential fire hazards, necessitating careful consideration of alarm requirements. NFPA 25, the standard for the inspection, testing, and maintenance of water-based fire protection systems, also plays a role, albeit indirectly. While primarily focused on water-based systems, it emphasizes the importance of regular inspection and maintenance of all fire protection equipment, including portable fire extinguishers like Halon units. Beyond these specific standards, it's essential to consider the overall fire protection strategy for the elevator machine room. This involves assessing the potential fire hazards, such as electrical equipment, flammable liquids, and combustible materials, and determining the appropriate level of fire protection needed. Regarding the use of Halon itself, it's important to acknowledge its environmental impact and the regulations surrounding its use. Halon is an ozone-depleting substance, and its production has been phased out under international agreements like the Montreal Protocol. However, existing Halon systems are often permitted to remain in service, particularly for essential applications where alternatives are not readily available. The EPA regulates the use and disposal of halon, and it's crucial to comply with these regulations when maintaining or decommissioning halon systems. When considering the need for an audio-visual alarm in conjunction with a halon fire suppression system, several factors come into play. Firstly, the purpose of the alarm is to provide timely notification to occupants in the event of a fire. This allows them to evacuate the area safely and to alert emergency responders. Secondly, the effectiveness of the alarm depends on its audibility and visibility. In a noisy environment like an elevator machine room, a loud audible alarm may be necessary to ensure that it's heard. Visual alarms, such as strobe lights, can be particularly helpful for individuals with hearing impairments. Thirdly, the requirements for audiovisual alarms may vary depending on local fire codes and the authority having jurisdiction. Some jurisdictions may mandate the installation of audiovisual alarms in all elevator machine rooms, while others may allow for alternative notification methods. In the case of O'Hare Airport, it's crucial to consult with the Department of Aviation and the local fire marshal to determine the specific requirements for fire protection in elevator machine rooms. They may have specific guidelines or regulations that need to be followed. Regarding the installation of a module to tie the Halon fire extinguisher to the fire alarm control panel, this is generally recommended to ensure that the fire alarm system is activated in the event of a fire. This allows for timely notification to occupants and emergency responders, and it can also trigger other fire protection measures, such as shutting down ventilation systems or activating smoke control systems. The specific type of module required will depend on the type of Halon fire extinguisher and the fire alarm control panel. It's important to consult with a qualified fire alarm technician to ensure that the module is properly installed and configured. In summary, the decision of whether to use Halon fire suppression systems with or without an audiovisual alarm, and the need for a module to tie the extinguisher to the fire alarm control panel depends on a variety of factors, including NFPA standards, EPA regulations, local fire codes, and the specific requirements of the authority having jurisdiction. It's crucial to consult with qualified fire protection professionals and the relevant authorities to ensure that the fire protection system is properly designed, installed, and maintained.